What's up guys, Controlled Chaos here bringing you a video of the top 5 decks for the upcoming September 2013 format. Now for this video I'm not going to include decks or support cards or anything that's coming from Shadow Specters because I'm not really familiar enough with the set to do so. So this is going to be roughly September 1st to November, early December in this list. Yeah, so without further ado, here's the top 5. Number 5. I got Mermail. Mermail still is a good deck. It's not topping like it used to because all the good players that used to play it are now playing either Prophecy or Elemental Dragons. But I feel like that was the best blessing for the deck, is that people stopped winning with it as much because now, you know, looking at the ban list, looking at what's completely broken, when Mermail came out, everybody was looking at it like, oh no, Megalo needs to get hit, this needs to get hit, Sphere needs to get hit, Lyn needs to get hit, this deck is so broken. And then Fire Fist came out, and then everybody was like, okay, maybe it's not so broken, it's still good though, we can still win with it. And then Prophecy started getting more hype, and it was like, yeah, we still got this. And then Dragon Rulers came out, and so did Judgment, and everybody was like, man, Mermail sucks. So nobody's really playing with it as much anymore, so it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to get hit at all on the ban list. If anything, just minimal stuff, because nobody's really topping with it anymore. But the deck is not any worse than it used to be. It's just surrounded by more brokenness. So I think once you weed out some of the brokenness with the ban list, like they're probably going to do with weakening Dragon Rulers and weakening Prophecy, it'll rise back up, in not only in hype, but in how much it's played and how well it's played. So I got that as number 5. I don't think it's good enough to crack the absolute tier 1, in my opinion, but you know, we'll see. Only time will tell. Number 4, I have Constellar. Alright, Constellar is getting a reasonable amount of support from Judgment of the Light. As hinted by the name Judgment of the Light, you know, it helps a lot of light decks. They're getting the new Star Leash overlay. They're getting, you know, Transmodify. That doesn't help them. I don't know why I just said that. Anyway, they're getting some support, but they're already a good deck and they're good against the meta. The problem right now is that they're a bit too slow. But I was looking at kind of the ban list is, you know, you can't really predict exactly what's going to be on the ban list and specifically what it's going to do, but you can predict what the goal is going to be. Now, the goal for this ban list, at least as a logical Yu-Gi-Oh players, you know, from my perspective, is that you want to slow down the best decks without making them completely unplayable. So, you know, you drop Rejuve to 1, you drop Spellbook Magician to 1, you drop, you know, whatever. Draco, they're not going to touch Draco's deck, but still, like, you don't completely kill off the deck, but you slow it down. And if you slow down decks like Elemental Dragons, they're a lot more susceptible to play these. They're a lot more susceptible to, you know, any play really that Constellar can make, and it's a good solid deck with good meta matchups. You know, speaking of good solid deck with solid meta matchups, I'm going to go with Evil Swarm for number 3. You know, 2 decks coming out of Hidden Arsenal 7 are going to be on this top 5 list because I think it's one of the best Hidden Arsenals, in my opinion, to ever come out. It's actually produced 2 fairly top tier decks, and at least as long as I've been playing, that hasn't happened. They've been pushing really hard on, you know, these themed decks that aren't really that great, such as like Gishki and Laval and whatever. But, you know, with Hidden Arsenal 7, they really hit the nail right on the head with that one. They produced 2 good decks. And Evil Swarm, I think, is better, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't come with its own Compulse, but it comes with its own, I mean, Pandemic. There's really no comparison for it. My body minus a cost, and it works better, I guess. It's just broken, Pandemic in itself. And the showing at Nats alone should be enough that Pandemic won't get hit. And if Pandemic doesn't get hit, Ophion can get hit to 2 all they wanted to. I mean, I don't really care. As an Evil Swarm player, you really never use more than 2. You know, except in really rare occasions. But, you know, with all the protection you run for it, like your safe zones and Xyz Reborns, you really never have to go through more. So, Evil Swarm should go relatively unhindered by the upcoming ban list, and all the decks that it's already good against are probably going to get hit. Also, with the introduction of 3-axis and all these new synchro monsters, Ophion itself will just become so much more prevalent than it has been, because those decks don't really have as much of an out. I mean, 3-axis has Bear, yes, but you know, there's more answers to Bear than there is to Draco. There's more answers to Bear than there is to Summon Undyne, Pitch Infantry. There's more answers to Bear than there is Blaster's effect where you pitch it. You know, because you can bottomless a Bear. You can MST a Tenki. You can do whatever you gotta do there to stop that pop from happening. And if you stop that one pop just for that one turn, that could be enough to really seal the game for you if you can go turn 1 Ophion. So, actually, with that being said, I'm going to move into number 2, which I'm going to say is 3-axis, alright? So, as you can tell now, there's only one spot left, and neither Dragon Rulers or Prophecy has been named yet. So, you know, spoiler alert, one of them is going to be on this list. One of them actually fell into my 6th place. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I'll get to that. Anyway, so number 2, 3-axis. I think the deck's okay. I have it listed as my number 2 for one reason and one reason only. It's getting a lot of hype by good players. A lot of players that, you know, are top level players that have been, you know, dueling at YCSs, getting tops here and there, left and right, are really hyping the deck, which means they're going to be using the deck because they all think, rightfully so, that things like Dragon Rulers and Prophecy are going to get completely, you know, like, destroyed on the upcoming ban list. Which may or may not be an exaggeration, you know, only time can tell, but they recognize that it's going to get hit. It's not going to be as playable as it was previously. And for that, they're kind of just moving on to the next thing, which is really what you got to do in Yu-Gi-Oh! To keep yourself relevant and good. Just keep moving on, keep adjusting. So, a lot of good players are hyping this deck, which means a lot of good players will be running this deck, which means the deck will be run correctly, which means the deck will get tops. And, you know, if the deck gets a lot of tops, then, you know, it's a good deck. That's kind of, there's a lot of give and take, you know. If only Scrubs ran Elemental Dragons, it wouldn't have seen nearly as much success. But all the good players were running Elemental Dragons, so it saw a lot of success, which is, you know, apparent. And, you know, speak of the devil, I seem to mention like every one before it. But number 1, I got Dragon Rulers. I feel like they're going to hit Rejuve to 1, maybe Gold Sark to 1. Anything more than that, I really can't see Konami doing, because they're really trying to push the individual Elemental Dragons to be used with other decks. The original purpose of having these was to go in other decks, guys. To run Blaster and Lavable, to run Redox and Gadgets, which, you know, people do, and it actually works really good, but that's beside the point. They really want to push that, so they're not going to completely kill the deck by, you know, getting rid of those, especially with the new Holiday Tins, releasing them as all secrets. I'm so excited. Anyway, so, yeah. Dragon Rulers are still going to be really good, guys. Any deck that has that easy access to Master of Blades, to Big Eye, to Draco, you know, those decks, it's busted. Like, and anybody who argues that the deck isn't still going to be the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh!, even if you do get rid of Super Rejuve, watch a good Dragon Ruler player. Like, watch like an OCG video, because I'll admit it, OCG players are a lot better with the deck than TCG players. Like, I don't know why, it's just how it works. Because I was watching, I believe it was like, it might have been Japan's Nationals, but it was in top 4. Dragon Rulers versus Dragon Rulers, and it was the most well-played match I've ever seen in my entire life. There was so much back and forth, so much just craziness. Like, it was absurd. Neither one of them misplayed at all. And it was like, if you want to learn how to play the deck, watch them do it. Because they definitely know what they're doing with it. They've had a lot more practice with it than we have too, obviously. But they don't all use Rejuve. Like, they don't even have it in their deck, some of them. Some of them rely just on that Max C, which seems to be working just fine. Just on that Max C to get draw power. you really don't need Rejuve for the deck. It's a win more card. If you're pitching, 4, 5, 6 dragons per turn, or in a turn, to set up your field and your grave are already completely set for your turn, your next turn, and possibly the turn after that, no matter what you draw. You will have just enough material, just based on your grave and your field, to make a Draco, a Big Eye, or a Master of Blades, like, pretty much every turn. There's no need for Rejuve. Now, is Rejuve completely busted? Yes. Are you kind of stupid if you don't use it? Of course. But is hitting it to 1 going to completely kill the deck, or even really hinder it to the point where it won't be the best deck anymore? I don't think so. That's just my opinion. Now, that was the top 5 list, guys. But one key thing that was left out was Prophecy. I feel like they're going to massacre Prophecy. That's just my opinion. It has no more foreseeable support. It has World of Prophecy, but it's like a JD with infinitely more cost. I don't think it'll be as good as it is. It's not even receiving hype. Like right now, people are just knocking it because it's not that great. But I feel like Judgment's gonna get hit. I feel like if Judgment doesn't get hit, if they hit Secrets or Magician, it's enough to kill the deck. The deck is so combo based that you take out one piece of that, or make it harder to get to one piece of that, no matter where it is, it kills the deck, to be honest, guys. I think if you're a good player and you're inventive, you'll be able to make it work, which is why I listed it as my number 6 best deck in the next format. But it's not gonna be what it is now. It's not going to be a guaranteed, have Fate set, have Tower on board, have Wisdom set, and then have Magician and Jowgen on board, which is pretty much every turn. And then next turn you get your Star Halls going. It's not going to be that every single game, every single turn one. It's really going to cripple the deck. Now, while we're on the topic of other decks here, we'll talk about Bujin. It's a deck I'm really excited for, and I feel like it could have made my list if I would have known more about it. I was actually very recently introduced to it. When I read the spoiler for Judgment of the Light, I was like, whoa, why have I not heard of this deck? It's broken. And then I played with it a little bit on DN, but I did okay with it. Like, I think I went like 10-1, but to be fair, in matches on Rated, on DN, it's not the best competition. So, I think I played like 1 tiering deck. Everything else was just awful. But, I'll have to do an updated list after I really get used to Bujin. I actually feel like Bujin has potential to be the deck of this set. But, now let me make sure you guys don't misunderstand that. Not the deck of the format, but the best deck to come out of Judgment of the Light. Because right now it's pretty much like 3-axis and then Bujin's like right here. I feel like that could change based on who plays what. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around through all my rambling. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I think it's like right here. Maybe it's here. Anyway, subscribe, sub for sub. I always do it. If you sub me, I'll sub you. It's a free sub for you guys. If I get up to 50, I'm at like 31 subs right now or something like that. If I get up to 50, I'll do a giveaway. Get up to 100, I'll do a bigger giveaway, and so on and so forth. So, tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your wife, because they're subbing everybody out here. Give me more subs, people, woo, and I will give you stuff. Sounds fun. Alright, guys, Control Chaos, signing out. Whee!